Ladies and gentlemen, this is your reminder to lock in. I'm here to remind you that your life is in your hands. It's time to block out the noise. I get that phrase from the sports world where championship teams have to be really adept at blocking out the noise. Now, if you're pursuing a league-wide championship where there's 29 or 30 teams all vying for the same trophy, the competition can be fierce. In the world that we live in, the competition is not as bad, but it can have the same effect if you fail to block out the noise. You see, a sports team not only has the 29 to 30 other teams vying for the same prize, there's also drama between personalities and egos within the team. There are sportscasters and journalists who try and drive a wedge, sow seeds of doubt, and spread misinformation on a national level. There are people who have the audacity to write what is possible for someone else, then spread that all around the world to fans everywhere who read it and begin to believe it, not understanding what's going on in that sacred space of the locker room, how each of the teammates are interacting with each other, not even knowing what the coach's plans are to achieve their ultimate goal. For us, living everyday lives, we're not that high profile. You probably just have to contend with the negative opinions of a family member. You might have to deal with the negative opinion of a coworker. You may even have to deal with the negative opinion of a well-meaning friend or comrade who you tell your goals and your visions to, and they tell you that it's not possible. Well, to that I say, it's time for each and every one of you to block out the noise and lock in. As the situation stands in the United States, we have a lot of uncertainty. There have been mass layoffs in certain sectors of the economy. The price of goods that we need for survival are more expensive. But despite all that, it's time for us to block out the noise and lock in. I think about certain steps that you have to take, and this video will outline 5 of them. The first step that you have to take is to begin to meditate on the good that's already there in your life. You see, I've learned that focus is never turned off. You are always focusing on something. And to simplify it, it seems that you're either focusing on what you lack or you're focusing on the blessings that you have. I want you to shift into believing and focusing on the blessings that you have. Because if you can focus on that, apparently the universe will give you more of what you focus on. Don't focus on your problems in this season. Focus on the blessings that are all around you. The second step that you're going to need in order to lock in and block out the noise is to understand what your own unique mission is. See, when you know where you're going, there will be certain information that's not pertinent to your unique mission. The stock market may be crashing, but if you are a business owner and has put all of your capital into a personal business, the stock market crashing is not going to be the biggest factor that will determine your success or failure. If people are panicking, it will make things more difficult for you in your business, but at the same time, you have other things to focus on. And much of the news that you hear broadcast over the airwaves that is pushing out doom and gloom and fear doesn't always apply to you. So focus on your unique mission and understand the information that's important to you and the information that you could disregard. Now, the third thing that I would recommend to anybody is to spend time with your hobbies and activities that you actually enjoy. We only get a finite amount of time in this life, and it's very difficult to see ourselves spending all of our time worried about things that don't bring us any kind of fulfillment. Spend time with the people that make you happy if you can, and spend time just doing the activities that you really enjoy. Fourth thing that I would recommend to anybody is to simply plan your day. Make it a priority for you to get up and read something positive every day. I've been reading Secret of the Ages by Robert Collier, which is an older book, but it speaks on the power of the subconscious mind. I believe that science should have new and updated information about the power of our subconscious minds. But just reading that book has shifted the way I've thought here lately. And as far as what my subconscious mind is recording, I want to make sure that I'm feeding it positivity. And maybe not even positivity. I want to say that I'm feeding it something that's empowering. When it comes to the information that we receive, that is always trying to convince us that we're less than, which is always trying to convince us that we're inadequate, that the things we have are inadequate. It's important that we counterbalance that with gratitude. As I said earlier, focus on the things that are going well in your life. Lastly, I would say always do an after action review. Track your progress from day to day. There are many things that I need to work on in order to be more successful and a more empowered person as I walk through life. But always track everything. Track your finances. Track your interactions with random strangers. There are people who push our buttons on a daily basis, but try not to lose it too often. Understand that by tracking your progress, you will be able to see what type of effect you are having on other human beings, and try to make that as positive and beneficial to others as possible. But in these stressful, uncertain times, it's time for you to lock in. Lock into what's going on in your own mind. Understand your own goals. Understand what your mission is. And try to block out the noise from the outside as people project their own insecurities onto you. Make sure that whatever it is you're taking in is what you believe in. And try not to be influenced by negativity from the outside. I appreciate you watching this video. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a good one.